so you were expected to be Dr. Umar Johnson's second wife. Okay.
Well,
And
the
so
first wife, and then I would have had a second wife, like chosen or what have you. So he wanted me like to be number one, and then we had a second wife because he wanted two wives, if that makes sense at
okay.
all.
And although you two haven't been intimate, because he does believe in being intimate after marriage, correct?
No, he doesn't.
Oh,
Um, yeah, so he believes in being intimate right away, and I don't, and I don't at
okay.
all. Fast forward, this man, our first conversation was basically like, "I'm gonna f you. I don't know what I could say on your show, and
Yeah, you can
this is
say it.
on the. I'm gonna fuck you, and you're gonna be my fuck person in your town because I travel a whole lot." And I was like, "Well, no, you're not." Because I don't believe in that. I was like, "You're good looking and everything," but I said, "You had never met me before, and I will do the fucking around here. And on top of that, you're not gonna just come around and do whatever you think you're gonna do to me at all. Like it doesn't go like that." And then he laughed and he was
Okay.
like, "Damn, like you got a real one, you know?" Because he didn't know I was from Brooklyn originally, so Brooklyn in the house. And so after that, we talked a few times, but it kind of dissolved because I wasn't gonna give him any play. And then I found out that the sister that introduced me literally had slept with him and was trying to push me on him. And then she left the community we were in to join a polygamous community. And I think, because she never said his name at the time, she gave up her husband, she gave up her house, she gave up everything to move away to like the Philly area, if that says anything. And she gave up everything to be like a third, fourth, fifth wife or whatever it was. I was shook.
Okay.
She didn't say
So
the man's name. I know it was something.
after Dr. Umar Johnson, the Pan Africanist, told you that you were going to be his fuck buddy when he came into town and he
Mhm,
wanted to fuck you. Um,
mhm.
what happened after that when you said no?
I mean, he was like, "Damn, like you're not gonna just listen to me." Basically, I'm like, "No." I said, "I have a degree in psychology too. You're not gonna come up here and play with my mind and my emotions and think I'm gonna drop my drawers for you." So then we stayed friends. We became like cool after that. Like he respected that because he respects women that don't submit. It's almost like a fear factor with him. And studying psychology, I realized I did the complete opposite of what so many women do. So like if you submit to him and if you bow down because he's a Leo, he has that like finesse about him, you know what I mean? Then he's gonna push and push. But if you're like, "What the hell? Who do you think you're talking to?" He's gonna be like, "Oh shoot, let me back up a little bit." And that's what
Okay.
happened.
Okay.
Why am I going in on Dr. Umar Johnson? Because obviously a lot of you know, but some of you don't know that your girl Anaya A was supposed to be one of Dr. Umar Johnson's wife, right? And literally it was a whole thing with Dr. Umar Johnson because at the end of the day, you cannot force people to want to do what you want them to do. If there's no compromise, then it should not even be a topic. But one of the things that Dr. Umar Johnson really does keep his word about is the fact that he wants to see our community do better. So that essentially is the reason why you'll see me constantly post Dr. Umar Johnson, because even though he has his desire to be a polygamist and he has lived the polygamy life and he doesn't take care of his daughters and he does all these outlandish things, here's the point. He actually cares about the mental health and the education and the upbringing about our young black men. Therefore, your girl Anaya A says, okay, even though I know him personally for years and I know that Dr. Umar Johnson does want to have sex with the black women that he's constantly in, relationship with, not even like a relationship like man-woman physical intimacy relationship, but like you can be in a relationship with somebody and it could be platonic. And that's what I mean when I say in a relationship with, communication with, etc. Even though I know Dr. Umar Johnson a lot of times wants to get the cookie and things like that, I was strong enough to not give Dr. Umar Johnson the cookie, so that's why I can boldly talk about it. But I do like the fact that he does care to talk about the mental health issues of our community, and he does try his best to educate the people about what's going on in the school system and in education so that we can make better decisions when it comes to our children, our youth, and how we conduct ourselves within the school system so that maybe our young people could have a chance at getting to that next great, desire, platform, college degree, etc. Or they have this desire to perpetuate the same pain onto other women because they feel like it's not fair what they had to go through. So therefore, they want to make an example out of the female that's in their lives. So what do? They practice. A lot of these men, and some of them are really wealthy, some of them are not so wealthy, some of them are the D-boys on the block, some of them are gangsters, some of them are already pimps, some of them are just really educators that have secret fetishes, and there's just so many different, styles of men, right? So therefore, the whole point is these type of men, like the Dr. Umar Johnson type, right? Educated, professional, 16,000 degrees, very strong in stature, very intellectual, can talk to you about anything under the sun. And upon leaving the public eye, he'll come to you and whisper something to you like, can you be my F partner on the Treasure Coast, because when I fly into town, you'll be that partner for me, and you will be the partner that I have, and you'll receive me, and when I come to town, it'll be me and you, but when I leave town, you can't ask me any questions about who I'm sleeping with or what I'm doing, because we're not technically in a relationship, but you're going to be my partner when I come to town, and you better not have anybody else. Why are you men like that? You go around and you practice on women, especially black women. You know what black women like. You know our needs. You know what we don't like. You know our wants. You know our desires. And because you've made it to a certain caliber of, stature in life, you feel the need to bring out this machoism, egotistical behavior to keep us under your thumb as you try to control the narrative. But at the end of the day, are you even making said females feel good in the bedroom? What is it that you're bringing exactly to the table? Because if you're saying, and I'm utilizing the Dr. Umar Johnson as my point this afternoon, because of course I was in a thing, it was not a relationship with Dr. Umar. Over 10 years of us seeing each other back and forth, over 10 years of communication, over 10 years of me showing up to his events, not as a stalker at all, because we don't do that. But even when I called him to be the spokesperson and the leader for the Haitian Flag Day, obviously you guys see the evidence that he showed up. I was right by his side, because if I wanted to be that woman that was under his subjection, I would have been. But obviously you guys saw too when we were live at his school, in his gym, he went live on his platform. We got maybe 100,000 hits on that video alone. He was talking about marriage. He was talking and trying to convince me that we should be married, and that, he would take a second wife because he can't just have one wife. But then I didn't even go into the sexual part of the conversation that I wanted to, because I didn't want to string it along further. I gave him a kiss on the cheek, and I communicated with him that I was not going to be involved with any man that felt like he needed more than one woman. But why is this important with this narrative? Men, get it together. You cannot have your cake and eat it too, especially when you're dealing with certain type of females, with females that have their minds together, their lives together. Even if the female doesn't have her life 100% together, men like that, like Dr. Umar Johnson, piss me off so bad, because it's like, you're telling me what I should want and what I should need, and you're basically not even trying to listen to my needs, my wants, and then you think that I'm supposed to listen to you and just bow down to you when I'm not getting anything in exchange for this corrupt situation that you have me in. Because if you think about it, it's total corruption. Like, how are you going to force your methodologies, your mindset, your way of doing things onto somebody, and then tell them that they can't have anybody else in their lives because you're the best thing coming? No. And thankfully, I wasn't that stupid to lay up in the bed with Dr. Umar Johnson, because obviously we see how badly he talks about women after being with them. And then he has 2 different children by 2 different women that he has left them to be single mothers. And the latest thing is the fact that Dr. Umar Johnson now is saying that he's broke and he has no access to his account. And here's where I close with the Dr. Umar Johnson episode, or part, I guess, because we're going to go into some other parts real quick. The thing that really tickles my fancy, and I could say this wholeheartedly because I was supposed to already go live about this, but the thing that really tickles Anaya A's fancy, and you guys leave your comments, share how you feel, communicate with me while you're watching on live. I love to communicate back with you guys, right? The thing that really tickles my fancy about the whole Dr. Umar Johnson situation is because a lot of women would have jumped on his penis and would have accepted the crap, and several women already did that I know of, right? Matter of fact, the young woman that brought me to Dr. Umar Johnson, who happened to be much older than me, confided and shared with me years later that she actually was having sex with Dr. Umar Johnson. And here's the sad part. She was married to a very attractive black man. She was married to a man that had, businesses, had vehicles. This man was doing great things in the community and was well respected. But because Dr. Umar Johnson came around, she decided to drop her drawers and give Dr. Umar Johnson the cookies. Not only did she give Dr. Umar Johnson the cookies, she was also a voodoo priestess. She was doing voodoo. She was a black American woman. And I swear for God, family, I was never more shocked in my life to hear such nonsense. Now, you see me dressed like this, but I am a Christian. I don't practice voodoo. I don't do obia. I don't do de Lawrence. I don't do Santeria. I don't do any sort of witchcraft, because that stuff comes back on you. Witchcraft comes back, black magic, white magic. I said de Lawrence. Oh, what is de Lawrence real quick? De Lawrence is actually this practice from, I think, Scotland or Ireland that was literally brought to Jamaica many years ago. And it's a very, very wicked thing that a lot of Jamaicans practice. So be very careful with some Jamaicans. They feel sometimes if you even think of a bad thought, they think that you're thinking a bad thought, they'll do de Lawrence on you. There's this thing that they do where they take all your money and they hurt you because they feel that you're trying to hurt them. Not talking bad about my Jamaican community. However, when I found out about de Lawrence, I said to myself, Anaya, that's a whole nother practice that you never even heard about. I thought I knew some stuff, but de Lawrence is actually, I think in my heart, even worse than voodoo, as well as Santeria, as well as even obia, and but I can't remember the next one. There's another Spanish type of voodoo that's done to people, but I can't remember at the moment. Either way, all of these practices are no good. The reason I'm sharing this is because the woman that I'm referring to, right, who was in the entertainment industry, who was married, whom actually was a beautiful sister that I thought literally was sleeping with Dr. Umar Johnson, left her husband for Dr. Umar Johnson, and moved, I think, to a camp that Dr. Umar Johnson had, literally, whereas he was able to coerce women, or convince women, I don't want to say coerce, convince women, predominantly black women, to live with him on some kind of camp village thing where he could control them, and literally they could be sister wives and all of that stuff. But yet Dr. Umar Johnson wants to talk about Shannon Sharpe. It just bothers me, though, that these black women came out with nothing in the end, except for the experience of being Dr. Umar Johnson's, sister wives. But white girls, they don't go in no situation and end up empty-handed. We see that with Shannon Sharpe. So before you start talking Dr. Umar Johnson, take into consideration some women like myself, known as Anaya A, actually know a lot of your dirt and your secrets. And I never intended for me to go on the Tasha K show and slam and bash Dr. Umar Johnson. It was actually the opposite. I wanted to go on the Tasha K show to talk about the Dr. Umar Johnson, and to let people know that black men, need to do better when it comes to black women. You need to protect us. You need to respect us. You need to love us, because oftentimes you guys don't understand. We love the hell out of you guys. We love black men so much that we would give anything for the love of a black man oftentimes. But black men, you want to hurt us so much that you will sit there and drag us through the mud. You will sit there and embarrass us. You will sit there and have other races of men embarrass us as you parade around other females and hurt other females so freaking badly. And it breaks my heart every single day when I have to hear people like Dr. Umar Johnson have the mitigated gall to talk bad about a damn Shannon Sharp that looks like Gumby, that green freaking cartoon, and have the nerve to talk about how that damn Shannon Sharp is no good. But at the same time, Dr. Umar Johnson, how good are you? I know you personally, sir. Don't forget, 10 years, no kiss, no sex, no lovemaking, no touching of the cookies, no getting anything from me in that sexual sense, because from day one, you proved the point that a lot of you men would rather see us suffer as black women than to edify us and bring us up to the next level right by your side.